Okay, so let's talk about Backrooms. Backrooms is really interesting. Now, when it comes to A24, I mean, I'm an A24 fan already, so the fact that it was A24, I was already sold. Um, with the ambiguous trailer, which is really more of a teaser, or at least when I saw, I was interested. Didn't really know anything about the movie, but I was sold. It looked interesting, and I wanted to see it regardless. So, this movie was really cool because it wasn't necessarily a horror film, but there are horror elements sort of slipped in there in a casual way to give you those unsettling feelings without actually being horrified, even though there are some moments that were pretty unsettling. So, basically we have this guy Clark. He owns a furniture store and things aren't really going his way. He sees this therapist because he's still upset over how his marriage had ended, and so he has this therapist try to help him sort of recover himself, essentially. And ultimately he has these two employees, and that's really, it matters just for part of the story. Clark eventually has issues with the breaker, and as he's sort of trying to, one night, he sees these lights flickering around the furniture store, and he puts his hand on the wall where he sees this light, and he gets taken to the back rooms, where it's essentially this endless nothingness. Now, these are prolongated scenes where you don't really know where they're exploring. He's sort of figuring out what all this is about. And so the first time he goes into the back rooms, he doesn't really venture too far. He sort of stays close to the door, if you will. So he ends up finding another hatch that puts him back kind of where he started. So he really lucked out on that one and exited the back rooms. And so he does what a normal person would do. He's like, hey, there's furniture here. I can use that to sell. So I just love the business side of it. I just kind of thought that was interesting. The movie started with this guy, some sort of hazmat or, some kind of suit like that, saying, hey, I'm lost, come find me. And we get this glimpse of some kind of humanoid thing that attacks him. So that's really the opening. We know the backrooms exist, and we know there's something down there. That's really the only thing we get to learn about it before Clark enters. So after Clark enters, he brings his two employees along with him with a camera and long rope, where they can sort of explore further areas into it. Because they don't want to. He's mapping it out. He doesn't want to lose track of where he is, which he's playing it smart. But the thing is, when he ends up taking this one of his setting one of his employees down this slope, he ends up finding bodies, and there's something down there that then turns a corner. He rushes up the slope, but he can't get the rope through in time, so the creature, this humanoid thing, tugs on the rope, pulling the employee down, which pulls the bed it was tied to, which pulls the other two characters, Clark and a second employee, down there. So now they're all down there, and the second employee, she sort of takes off to find a friend. And of course, her and Clark are now separated. And as they're trying to sort of figure things out, Clark picks up the camera and he's running around. So it's almost like a found footage style, even though the whole movie isn't found footage. There are sequences that are. And so Clark has a camera and he's going from room to room. And this is where we get to see different kinds. We see this room with a Christmas tree, where we see other people. We see bathrooms. We see like this pool area. This is where we get to see that the backrooms are not just office space. There is so much more to it than that. And as he ends up coming in contact with one of the creatures, it cuts to his therapist, where she ends up thinking, okay, people are missing. And she decides to sort of go to Clark's furniture store and see what is going on. So once she gets to his furniture store, she's now looking around. She expects him to be there. I mean, he had one session with her where he's telling her about the back rooms, and he drew a map, and she just kind of, like any normal person would, just assume he's lost it. But now she ends up finding the doorway to the back rooms, and when she enters, She has no idea what's going on. Of course, as all these characters do when they first enter, and now she's just sort of exploring. She's kind of freaked out. She doesn't know what's going on, but she ends up hearing Clark's voice when she reaches a dead end, and Clark ends up revealing himself to her, but he attacks her, takes her hostage, and when she comes to, she's in a room with a couple other people, but they have, let's just say, disfigured faces, for lack of a better term. And Clark's trying to explain everything to her. She realizes that he was never happy with a marriage. It was all about himself, and she's realized he always blames everyone or everything else for everything that ever goes wrong in his life. And so as his therapist, she doesn't really say that to him, but now that he's taken her captive, now she's hashing out with him. And he basically says the Backrooms is like a imperfect copy of the world. There's people there, but they're not perfect. The rooms mimic what's in the regular world, but it's not perfect. And so he's got it all figured out, got the Backrooms all figured out, and he kind of likes it there in this imperfect place where he's just sort of at peace. But there's the creature, humanoid monster thing that's still not done with the characters. And as it comes to this room where they are, the other people in the room, they sort of take off. They're freaked out by it because this thing has been, roaming the back rooms for we don't know how long now. And when it finally comes face to face with the characters, we see it's Clark's other alternate version of him, and it's Pirate Clark, the skit that Clark was trying to do for a commercial for his store. And so Pirate Clark then ends up lifting Clark and eating him. So of course, she's leaving. This therapist, she's gone. She just takes off. And this is where I would say, arguably, maybe the most interesting part of the movie comes in, because now this is pretty much a long chase scene between her and the pirate. And we get all kinds of different kinds of rooms. The creativity that went into the sets for this film, which was incredible, because it looks like it's never ending. And it's just, I thought it was really well done. There's different kinds of rooms where she sees this giant pit down into nothingness, room with full of couches, just the different kind of rooms they end up trying to go in. She finally has a standoff with this thing, but ends up into a chamber or this room with people, other people who aren't like the people in the back rooms. These are regular people in hazmat suits. She's found a lab of some sort, and they're now questioning her. Hey, tell me everything you want about the back rooms. And all she wanted to do was go home after being taken captive. And now she's realizing they're probably going to leave her there. And so for all this talk about Clark saying there's alternate versions of everyone down the back rooms, even though they found bodies, so sort of the monsters and things have been eating the others. And so in sort of our final shots for the movie, the people are basically telling her, we need to learn more about this place, we need information. And it cuts to a shot of her, but not really her, in a room where she's just sort of sitting in this chair, just lifeless. And so I guess there's two different interpretations. There's one where there's a personal theory of mine where she never found the lab, she never actually found people, she ended up getting caught by the monster, and now she's stuck in that nothingness and became one of those kind of things. Or it just showed her alternate version in the back room somewhere at random. So it's an ambiguous ending, so there's a couple different ways you can take it, but regardless, it was extremely fascinating film. It's very interesting, the idea of everyone's running from something, there's an emptiness inside of people, or emptiness in the world, and when you come face to face with that, whether it's within yourself or it's something you come face to face with, you have to deal with it. And sometimes there's just no way out. There's always going to be one way out, but it's always going to take work. It's going to take a lot of effort. And obviously, because these characters had to remember where they came from to get back to the one entrance we've seen, it takes a lot of thought process to sort of retrace our steps and figure out where we started. So I think there's a lot of different life lessons you could take from this movie, which I find movies interesting, to have these sort of ideas we can hold on to after the movie's over. So I really found it to be very interesting. I thought it was very cool visually. I thought it was a stunning film, and I thought the acting was really good too. So this one is really solid. I've enjoyed it, And this is definitely one I'm going to want to buy on physical media. Given the success, I don't see why I wouldn't, considering A24's been doing multiple physical releases for their films. So I'm excited. This one's pretty good. So thanks for watching my review of it, and keep it digging.